Fans of the ABL, I am Alan of Armchair Updates. No longer Alan of the Rockies. I'm trying to disassociate myself with the worst team in the ABL. So I'm now Alan of Armchair Updates. I am no longer proud to be owner of the Rockies. That said, let's get right into week 4. I don't have a whole lot to say. Two undefeated teams remain. Minnesota sitting on top. Well, we had 9 total unbeaten teams. We had Minnesota 3-0, Houston, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Mark, I'm pretty sure. I mean, going off of the fact that he only had 1 win last year, this has got to be the first week that the Clevelands have went 3-0. So congratulations to Mark. I'm not even really being sarcastic. That's pretty great. Very nice week for Cleveland Mark. The Yankees go 3-0. The D-backs go 3-0. The Mariners, the Cards, and the Phillies all go 2-0. And those are your unbeaten teams for week 4. You're still on the better side of 500 teams, where Oakland's taking that first loss, 2-1. The Dodgers, 2-1. The Royals, the Giants, and the Braves all at 2-1. The Orioles split the week, the only team to go 500, 1-1. And then the Tigers, the Rays, the Pods, the Jays, the Red Sox, weird week for the Red Sox, the Rangers, the Brewers, and the Marlins all go 1-2. And then of course, the Rockies. Well, so let's see. So the White Sox go 0-2. Tough week for Harry, even though he's had a pretty good pitching week, I know. The Cubs take a tough 0-3. The Angels, Reds, Nats, and Mets all go 0-3, and the Rockies, the only team in the league to go 0-4. Unsurprisingly, the shittiest team in this entire league. Go 0-4 and start the year 0 and everything. So yeah, nice week for the Cardinals and Twins. They remain the two unbeaten teams in the ABL. The Oaklands took 1 loss, still went 2-1, still had a very good week, but guess I didn't really see. No, I think it was Boston. Did Boston? We'll see. Let's see. Let's go here. So Boston shows up. No, it wasn't Boston. Boston shows up 3 times in the smallest margin list. Not often that we see a team show up in have 3 of his matchups show up in the 5 spots that I use for the smallest margin. But number 1 was an especially tough loss for Don, as Toronto Gary beats him by 0.333 points. So a lot of things could have went differently in that matchup for that W to get switched around. But as it is, Don is taking 2 tough losses this week and doling out 1 tough loss. So really interesting week to be the Red Sox if he was checking his scores every day, which I'm sure it's likely that Don was. I know he was talking about that matchup with Toronto right up until the last minute. And yeah, as we see, we've had ties in the league before. We've had sub 1 point wins previously, but I think for this year, early on this year, the 0.3 of a point is the slimmest margin we've seen yet. Number 2, Cleveland over the White Sox. So not only does Harry take a tough 0-2 week, while the rest of the division performed pretty well, at least Cleveland and Minnesota did. One of these 2 losses that Harry took was by fewer than 5 points. Cleveland knocks off the White Sox by 4.167 points. The next 2 are both by 9. It's San Francisco over Boston, and then Boston over Atlanta. So Don loses to the Jays by 0.3 of a point. He loses to the Giants by 9 points, and he beats the Braves by 9 points. So again, a really kind of a fun week. I guess not fun to be on the losing side of 2 of the 3 of those, but a fun week for Boston nonetheless. And then number 5, Baltimore over the Angels, who could have really used that win by 12.333 points. So not quite as close as the others, but still a matchup that really could have gone either way. And you could have seen the Angels grab a win and the O's be 0-2 instead of 1-1 on the week. But they're not. 12 points, a little over 12 points, Baltimore over the Angels. Your points per game for week 4, starting to see some familiar teams pop up in these top fives every week now. Excuse me. Minnesota in 79 games played averaged 4.56 points, which pretty substantially better than the number two at 4.3 points in 72 games, which comes to Houston. So you saw Houston went 3-0, and clearly Ray had a pretty good week, averaging 4.3 points in a lot of games played. Number three, Seattle, 4.12 points in 74 games. Number four, the White Sox, 4.08 in 71 games. So to be number four on the point per game for week 4 and still end up going 0-2 is a pretty tough week for the White Sox. Give them a tip of the cap, because that's a rough week when you're top 5 in point per game, and it's not like he only played 60 games, right? He played 71. He had 71 games played. So rough week for Harry. Pittsburgh at number 5, 4.05 points per game in 76 games on the week. Hitting week 4, not surprising to see Minnesota atop hitting, and he's also in there in pitching, as is St. Louis. These teams are dominating. Minnesota, the number 1 hitting team, 178 points in week 4. St. Louis, number 2, 173 points. The Yankees at number 3, 169. Houston, number 4, 166 points. And Cleveland cracking the top 5 in hitting. So Cleveland goes 3-0 on the week, does it on the backs of the bats. 162 hitting points, good for a top 5 spot in week 4. Week 4 pitching, Oakland, number 1, just edging the White Sox, but Oakland at 187.167 points. The White Sox at number 2, 186. So again, man, the White Sox showing up in points per game, showing up in great pitching, just didn't get it done with the bats. 0-2 week, very, very tough for the Sox to see this. And I mean, I guess at least he was only at 0-2, right? Like if he was going to have a bad week, it wasn't an 0-4 or anything like that. But still, that sucks. Minnesota, number 3, 182.167 pitching points. Seattle at number 4, 162.667. And Pittsburgh, number 5, 151 pitching points in week 4. So it would, without going back and looking, I know we've seen, Minnesota in both the hitting and pitching. I know we've seen the White Sox and Seattle in the pitching. We're starting to see the same familiar names popping up week after week, and that's kind of a habit, at least continuing from year 1, where these teams are built around or built how they are, and as long as they stay healthy and avoid everybody slumping at once, this is where they're going to be. The wheat is separating from the chaff. Is that what happens? The cream is separating or rising, whatever it is. We're starting to see who the powerhouses are through week 4. And I did do the yearly stuff here. So your point per game, and this was surprising to me. The overall point per game leader on the season is Toronto, 4.1 points per game. But Gary's just not getting the games played numbers that he needs to kind of be taking full advantage of that. Like, obviously the games that he's getting, the guys that he is playing are playing very well. It's kind of neat to see Toronto sitting on top there. It really, really surprised me when I looked at that. The rest, not as much, at least the next 3, not as much. Pittsburgh, 4.05, sitting at number 2. How awesome must it be to be Pittsburgh? Even when guys like Tyler Mahle are struggling, Rogers is struggling, he's got guys like Logan Gilbert and them to step right in and fill the gap. That has to be a great feeling, that even when some guys struggle, you have guys that are just as incredible. I got to tip the cap to Duke. Minnesota, 4.01 points per game. Not surprising to see. He's crushing hitting. Tyler's crushing hitting. He's crushing pitching. The Twins are a monster. Oakland, 3.97 points per game on the season. Oakland's been on a run. Last week, the first note was Oakland's on fire. They're still on fire. They took their first loss, but still on fire. 3.97 points per game. And number 5, Kansas City. Who would have thought 4 weeks into the season, a team that had to have the Toronto got a new owner in Gary because Blue Jay Mark was a dick, but KC got a new owner because the owner completely abandoned the team and left it for dead. Brendan comes right in and is not just like thinking about competing. He's competing. He's top 5 in point per game on the year. So fucking tip of the hat to Kansas City. Tip of the hat to Brendan. Hitting on the year, St. Louis, 812 points, sitting on top. Pittsburgh, number 2, 798 points. You're going to see a lot of these guys in both. The Dodgers, 789 points, number 3. Number 4, Minnesota, 786. And then a little bit of a gap to number 5, Oakland, 768. And then, a lot of the same exact guys in the pitching. Oakland, 769.833, your number 1 pitching team. So number 5 in hitting, 1 in pitching. Number 2, the White Sox, just as Harry was doing last year, doing it with the pitching, 750.833 points. Pittsburgh, number 3, 733. So Pittsburgh, number 2 hitting, number 3 pitching. Think he only has 1 loss on the season. St. Louis, 731.5 at number 4. So number 1 in hitting, number 4 in pitching. NL Central, those guys are just going to be clawing and biting at each other the entirety of the season. And then Minnesota, 727 at number 5. Minnesota, number 5 pitching, number 4 hitting, undefeated. There's a reason all of these guys. I don't know exactly what the Dodgers' record is, but I know he's not doing poorly, and it's not surprising to see these guys where they are in the yearly total numbers. For the notes, I think the only thing I didn't mention was we had 3 teams play over 80 games this week, and then Minnesota at 79. So I think I haven't looked, but that seems like a lot of teams eclipsing 80 for the week. If you throw Minnesota in there, call it 80, and it's 4 teams, 80 or more. That feels like a lot, but that feels like about the range you want to be in. Mid 70s, definitely low 70s, but high 70s, low 80s, even better. That's kind of the spot you want to be in this year, it seems like so far. And I do want to do the power rankings. I want to take a look at the power rankings. So let me see if I can do that. So this time I actually will bring them up. Tyler, does these every week. Not going to go through every number here, but let's go through some of the big movers and shakers. Detroit jumps up 9 spots despite taking a 1-2 week. So that's what, like, strength of schedule related or whatever. But Detroit jumps up 9 spots to 7th overall. The Orioles have the 1-1 week and drop down 9 spots. The Rangers are down 4. The Yankees are up 6. The Rays are down 5. The Mariners are up 7. The Royals up 3, or down 3. I'm sorry. The Astros up 3. Phillies up 1. Sox down 4 with the 2 losses. But really, yeah, the 2 big ones, the Tigers up 9, the Orioles down 9. Your top 10 teams, according to the Tyler Power Rankings, the A's at number 1, Pittsburgh number 2, the Dodgers number 3. I don't know, kind of not surprising that the Dodgers are good because the Dodgers were good last year. There's no reason to think they wouldn't be good this year. But for the Dodgers to be over the undefeated teams, maybe a little bit surprising. The Cardinals at number 4, the Twins at number 5, the Giants at number 6. So, giving Brendan the tip of the cap, but Josh, the same situation. He had maybe a little bit more time to mold the Giants because he took over pretty early for the guy's name, Roger. But tip of the cap to the Giants, number 6 in the power rankings. Team with a new owner. Josh's been around for a while, but still a new owner. This is his first full season of the Giants, and he's got them, at least early on, sitting top 10 in the power rankings. The Tigers, as I said, jumped up 9 spots to number 7. The D-backs at number 8. So 3 NL West teams in the top 10 of the power rankings right now through week 4. Kansas City, number 9. Another, new owner, hat tip, Brendan. And the Astros at number 10. He jumps up 3 spots and gets into the top 10. The Phillies just miss. The Sox, the White Sox, fall out of the top 10. And the Mariners are making a push, with another strong week. Maybe he moves up some spots and gets in there. But, the dregs of the league remain pretty – the Rangers have weaseled their way into the bottom, the red portion, dropping down 4 spots. You got me, the Nats, the Mets, the Angels, the Marlins. If health for the Marlins, maybe they would be better I'm sure they would be better if the pitchers had been healthy all year so far. The Sox, after a tough week, don't move at all, but still, it doesn't help. The Reds dropped one, but we're still in here. And Milwaukee, you see Milwaukee and Cincinnati in the bottom 10. And when you're playing the Pirates and the Cardinals, and to a lesser extent even the Cubs, who are right there in the middle of the league but are no pushover, that's not too surprising. And similarly with me and no, it's just me. Yeah, it's just me from the NL West that is that bad. Cripes. The NL East, though, bringing the Nats, the Mets, and the Braves in the lower half of the power rankings. So you got to be happy if you're the Phillies. Oh, and the fucking the Marlins. Didn't you think about the Marlins? So the Phillies, just like I said last week, I made the joke that Phillies have these sewn up. Well, power rankings don't necessarily disagree with me. I'm sure nobody has anything sewn up yet, but that NL East is rough in a different way when you when you talk about the say the NL Central being rough or the AL East being rough in a different way. Um, that's pretty much all I got. Pretty quick week 4 hits. Yeah, I didn't do a lot of notes and stuff this week, but if I dealt Barrios, dealt Ryu, that's me, the Rockies. I'll take ownership of the Rockies now. Sonny Gray still kicking around. I've gotten some action. Haven't put anything together yet, obviously. Marco Gonzalez still kicking around. I'm fine keeping Marco. He signed it next year. I'm fine keeping Cronenworth. He signed it next year, but these guys are available. I'm also fine hanging on to them until somebody gets hurt and somebody really needs a pitcher or something. But this putting the word out there again. If you're interested in these guys, come and see me. But if we don't come to anything, we don't come to anything. I guess it's happened a couple times already. So, but that's it. Thanks for watching. That's week 4. Kind of later in the week, Thursday. I kind of have been procrastinating a bit, so my apologies for that. But we got it out there. We got it done. Congrats to Mark again on a 3-0. Congrats to the Twins and the Cardinals for being still undefeated. Congrats to the Jays for being number 1 on the year in point per game so far. There's a lot of season left. Things are going to change, but some things are starting to separate themselves from others. And see you next week.